Hello, my name's Jonathan Arnold. I'm Director of Communities and Partnerships in the Diocese of Canterbury. Communities and Partnerships is a department or framework which is really outward facing into the community. We're all about social justice and environmental concern. And we work very closely with the other frameworks, so mission and ministry, children's schools and young people and so on, with the other directors in the diocese. We like to think that we're a resource really for the diocese. We're here to help with ideas, with practical help, with advice and so on. So we're here to help every single community in the whole of East Kent really, parishes and deaneries and whoever calls on us as a resource. And we do what we can to help people develop their community outreach and develop their sense of social justice, which is at the heart of the gospel. In addition to helping our parishes and communities, we also have some projects which are core projects really to what we do, and there are four main areas for this. People living in poverty and homelessness and vulnerability, those who are migrants, refugees, those who've been exiled from their homeland, environmental concern and justice and climate action. And then there's a fourth category of chaplaincy or bishop's advisors. And this is a variety of chaplaincy within the diocese. So let's just take those in turn. Homelessness, vulnerability, poverty. We have several areas in East Kent which are particularly in disadvantaged communities, and we work with them. We have chaplains to the homeless. We have projects which are for church services which particularly outreach to those people who live chaotic lives or who are homeless. One of these is called Ignite, which is a really exciting project and supported by Church Commissioners' funding. It's centred around hospitality, food, welcome and good fun really. And then we have specific projects which help to house the homeless. So one of these is a key project for us called Break the Cycle. It's based in Ramsgate and it's specifically a house to give accommodation to those coming out of prison who would ordinarily go into homelessness. Like 40% of some of our prison leavers go into homelessness. And we're trying to break that cycle of reoffending, going back into homelessness, back into prison and so on. So that's a wonderful project that we're working on now, where we're just taking the first residents into that community now, which is really exciting. And we have all sorts of other projects that work with those who are financially disadvantaged, particularly one called Connecting Canterbury, which is an organisation, a charity that works in hubs in and around Canterbury and offers financial help, grants, food, advice on benefits and all sorts of other things, and a credit union with Kent Savers. Moving on to migrants and refugees, this is a particular concern for us in East Kent for obvious reasons. So we have a dedicated refugee worker working in our department in East Kent, and that refugee officer works tirelessly to help those who've been resettled through the United Nations scheme, particularly Syrians and now of course Afghan exiles, and with those who come across the Channel. This work involves awareness, education. We work very closely with schools, but we also work at the heart of government and often call for summits with the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Bishop of Dover, and we're working very, very closely with senior members of the church and government on this matter. And we're just about to appoint our second Calais refugee officer, and they will be based in Calais itself, working with refugees over there, particularly working ecumenically and working with a safe house there for vulnerable women and children. In terms of the environment, I have the thematic lead for environment, and it's our ambition and our aspiration that the diocese become carbon neutral by 2030. This is absolutely dear to our heart and absolutely critical for our care for creation. It's one of our key 5 marks of mission that communities and partnerships are so closely involved with. And we have a whole range of environmental projects going on. And of course, Eco Church is one of those that we work very closely on. And then the fourth category is chaplaincy, bishops' advisors. We have chaplains of all kinds. In fact, we have the chaplain at the University of Kent. We have a chaplain down at the Port of Dover and Eurostar. We have a chaplain for emergency response in times of crisis. We have chaplains to Romani, Gypsy and community people. And we have chaplains for the homeless, bishops' advisors for disability. We have bishops' advisors for rural affairs. And we are closely involved in Anna Chaplaincy for those who are later on in their lives and who may or may not be living with dementia. Those are just some of the projects that we're involved in, and we're also involved in partnerships in many, many places, such as the Clua Trust, which is about those people who've been trafficked, who are victims of modern slavery, the White Ribbon initiative to stop domestic abuse, and many, many others. So we're broad, but we also hope that we're deep in our connection with our communities. Just to say a little word about funding, because you may think, of course, that a lot of these projects sound quite expensive, and some of them are. Some of them are cost neutral because we work very closely with volunteers, a huge range of volunteers across Kent. But some of our projects are costly, and we do need to raise money for them. And so we have our own dedicated registered charity called Together Kent. And through Together Kent, we can raise money from charities to support our work, particularly with refugees, with the homeless, our Break the Cycle project, Connecting Canterbury, a refugee officer, and so on, can all be helped through raising money through that channel, as well as money that comes in through donations from the diocese, the Bishop's Justice Appeal, which helps our work, and many, many other sources. So I hope that gives you a flavour of communities and partnerships and where we sit in the diocese. And if you would like to know more, then please do get in touch with me, Jonathan Arnold. My email is jarnold@diocant.org, and it'll appear on the screen after this short video. Thanks very much indeed for watching. It's a delight to share with you my passion and the passion of all the team in Communities and Partnerships for this really, really crucial work. And I look forward to seeing you soon.